11 million UK citizens have final salary pension schemes, and the government is conducting a review in order to introduce improvements aimed at restoring consumer confidence. A green paper was published in February 2017 and a white paper will be published in the spring of this year. But a key issue with older members is that all pensions are inflation-proofed except for those who worked before 1997. Most large companies inflation-proof all their pensioners, but a few exploit this loophole in the law. I shall ask Julian Russell, a pensioner and spokesman for HPPA, to comment on the fitness for purpose of the Green Paper and to express the hopes of the older generation of pensioners that the White Paper will not be a whitewash of their concerns.
The stated objectives of the Green Paper are to restore consumer confidence in final salary schemes, to identify anomalies and issues, and to find solutions to them that will address any issues that undermine consumer confidence. So that is what the paper claims to be all about. The Green Paper poses the question, are final salary schemes affordable? And it answers its own question by saying, in general, yes, they are. Most of the paper is highly focused on scheme management issues and fund management issues. And given the aims of the paper, surprisingly, there's almost no data in there that actually seeks to measure the factors that affect consumer confidence. There seems to be the tacit assumption in the paper that if schemes are solvent, then consumers are confident. I think that is a completely false assumption because consumer confidence is affected by many factors other than scheme solvency, and many of them far more immediate to consumers. Much more imminent are factors like maintaining the value of the scheme and measures that are not going to actually dilute the benefits in that package. So those are the factors that would appear to be at least of equal importance, and yet they don't appear in the paper at all.
Preventing the exploitation of pre-1997 pensioners by some employers is your most urgent concern. How can this be achieved?
Well, the obvious way to achieve it would be to have universal indexation. The present discriminatory nature of the law is screaming out for a change, and that would be the logical change to carry out. The objection of the Minister is that this would damage small schemes. I think our feeling about that is there is no reason to mandate indexation on schemes where that wasn't an element of the product in the first place. So we're really talking about a few big schemes that did have that in. It was removed by the employers and they had no right to do so. If the Minister's not willing to consider indexation for all categories of pensioner, there are other ways in which that could be tackled. For example, through corporate governance rules, through a more effective complaint system, through more empowered trustees. There are many ways of doing it. All we've asked the Minister to do is to recognise that there's a moral imperative to act. And that is the one thing that we are waiting to hear the Minister recognise.
Julian, the Prime Minister has pledged to protect the pensions of ordinary people from the actions of unscrupulous company bosses. What are your expectations in the forthcoming White Paper?
Firstly, we'd like to see that the Prime Minister's pledge to the country is being taken seriously, and we'd like to see evidence that that is actually happening in the White Paper itself. Secondly, we'd like to see that significant consumer concerns that have an impact on consumer confidence are a substantial part of the White Paper, and it is not confined simply to supply-side issues and scheme deficits. Thirdly, we'd like to see that our own predicament is recognised as a significant consumer concern that undermines pensioner confidence. It certainly undermines ours. And finally, we'd like clear evidence that the paper actually is produced consistently with its own stated objectives. Not much to ask, is it?